This morning. In the House, the outgoing executive director of the Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation, Chris Howard, and the incoming executive director of the Department of Rehabilitation, Billy Taylor. Billy, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Paul. Good to be here.
It's good to have you. Chris, how are you, sir?
I'm doing wonderful, Paul. How are you doing?
You got the fishing boat fully charged, the battery and everything ready to go?
Not yet. I was at the Capitol late last night working on our budget, and got up early this morning, so I'm running on fumes at the moment.
Listen, I was looking at the floor action to both of you, and there were so many things. They handled quite a bit in the House yesterday. There were a long list of stuff. And when you get into the appropriation part, and I know that you're holding on to this, it's got to be so boring after a while for everybody concerned, but you've got to go through the procedure.
Oh, I mean, it's never boring, Paul. But no, it is. I mean, it is a process, and we do rely on state money to match our federal funds. So it is extremely important that we work hard to get that appropriation so we can draw down our federal money and serve people all across the state.
HB 776, alcoholic beverages, revised the resort area term. Jerry Turner, that passed out of conference, House adopted conference report. 111 yeas, 3 nays. Hunting and fishing on lands of others revised. I was just going through some of the ones here that saw floor action yesterday. And again, as you said, most of those were appropriation. Billy, a little bit about you, sir, that as incoming director.
Yeah, Paul. I grew up in Gulfport, Mississippi. Went to Mississippi State for undergrad and Mississippi College for law school. Spent my first few years practicing law for the AG's office, representing a couple different state agencies. Then in 2010, moved over to MDRS, represented them till 2015. And then the day Chris took over as executive director, he hired me the same day to be the chief of staff. So I've been in that role for about, 9 years now.
It's been 9 years, huh?
It has, yeah.
Yeah, but have you ever sung in a band with Billy Hughes?
I've not. I've seen that happen, but I haven't had the pleasure of being invited up on stage.
I just want to know how long to continue this conversation if you had. So we'll just set some markers on that one. When you talk about your amount of money that you get, Chris, you're talking about an 80-20 split, or what is it today as far as the money you get from the federal government compared to the state revenues?
Yeah, we've got 3 major programs, and each one has a different match rate. So when you look at agency overall, it's about 90-10. So about 90% federal, 10% state funds. What that means is I think our total budget's around $270 million, and then 10% of that is our state funds.
Has it changed since you've been there?
The Medicaid match rate has fluctuated. After COVID, I think it dropped.
Yeah.
But then it's steadily increasing year by year. So that's fluctuated, but all the other matches have pretty much stayed the same.
Billy, when Chris enticed you to come in, were you aware of the scope of the agency, how much it covered across the state?
I feel like I learned something new each day about the agency. I mean, we have like 3 major programs like Chris mentioned, but a lot of different smaller things that kind of fall under those 3 major programs. So I'm learning more and more. I feel like I know my way around MDRS, but I'm sort of learning this process down at the Capitol. It's a interesting process for sure, and Chris has been very helpful.
The political part of it is a whole new ballgame, isn't it?
It is, for sure.
So, Chris, when you look at the changes in this almost 4 years under this president, rules and regulations, has that been harder to navigate? Have there been many changes? What does the Department of Rehab look like because of what went on in Washington?
It really hasn't changed a whole lot because, we're under the Workforce Innovation Opportunities Act called WIOA. And, that stayed intact for the past 10, 12 years. So the processes we go through, the work we do has not changed. Now, I will say this. We have had through WIOA, we've had a greater emphasis on serving young adults. So, over these past 4, 5, 6 years, we've really tried hard to get in the schools and reach these young adults and get them ready for work or for post-secondary education.
Yeah. How many people do you guys hire across the state?
We've got about 950 employees around the state. I think 300 of them are in Madison, and the rest are spread throughout the 45, 50 offices we have around the state.
Those offices are one's on the Gulf Coast, is it not?
It is. We've got one in Gulfport. Gulfport and I'm trying to
Gaucher and Picayune.
yeah. Chief of Staff knows all that.
I hope he does, especially if he doesn't know where the one is in Gulfport, we got a problem. So, tell me a little bit about the services, Billy, that you would like to concentrate on and how things may be. I'm sure most of it's going to be the same, but anything that you're looking forward to.
Yeah, we have some great things going at the agency. I'm sure Chris has mentioned our Project Search program that we've started a few years ago, where we partner with the schools, where we take children in their senior year of high school, and then they spend their senior year rotating around different jobs at different employers. So we have about 22 sites of those Project Search locations around the state. Those have been a huge success. I mean, just a lot of job offers made to those young adults.
Are they outlined somewhere on the website?
Yes, I'm sure they are. Yeah, we have 22 locations. We launched about maybe 4 years ago, and just started with one location at UMC, and then Chris has just steadily pushed Faye, the director of that program, to keep growing those numbers, and it has. I mean, 22 sites around the state has really exploded since the one we started with 3 or 4 years ago.
Chris, how long were you there? Because it doesn't seem, I know you were there for a long time, but as far as the executive director, is it been about 7 or 8 years, 9 years, 10 years?
Yeah, I came to the agency in 2000 as director of internal audit. Then I became the director in 2015, so that's almost 9 years.
9 years. Taking over from the worst Kubota driver on a tractor that mankind has ever seen. I joke about that, but Butch is he's still going strong over there on his farm, so there you go.
Yeah, he sure is.
All right, so anything coming up during the spring or summer that we need to talk about?
I know with the Project Search, we've got the graduations in May. Like Billy said, we've got 22 sites, and each one has a graduation where the kids get to come, parents get to come.
Now, where are these sites?
They're at the employer site. So a lot of them are hospitals. We've got one at Baptist, one at University Med Center. We've got one at Milwaukee Tools, so that's pretty cool.
Oh.
So that's something different. We were at Viking in Greenwood, where a couple naval bases, and then, of course, mainly hospitals around the state. But it's such a great opportunity to go out there and see those young adults and see what they've learned over that 90-day internship, and just watch them get up there and talk about their experience and really see how they flourished.
Billy, how long has this program been going on?
So we launched the first one about 4 years ago. So we started at UMC with Rankin County School District and took about a dozen or so young adults, and they spent that senior year of high school at UMC doing a few hours of classroom work in the morning, and then they would spend the afternoons rotating around different jobs throughout the university. And then the whole idea is that UMC hopefully will hire those individuals into some of those jobs at the end of their senior year.
This is and this is all part of that search program?
It is, yep. It's an international program. I mean, it's something that we tapped into a few years ago, but it's been real successful all over the nation and really all over the world.
When you start looking at the amount of people in our state, we talk about this all the time about workforce development, and here's something I haven't mentioned before, but it does kind of define the reason that a lot of people are so adamant about this. If you are able to work and you're not getting the job, you should be on that list. You shouldn't be given anything free from the people who are working. And I say that with this in mind. You've got some people with some pretty traumatic injuries out there or disabilities who have got up out of their chair, whatever it happens to be, and they've been rehabilitated to the point that they found a way, working with the Department of Rehab, to go out there and work. They're working, and if they can do it, you can do it. And I mean, we know of some cases of this, Chris.
Yeah,
and some remarkable different stories out there, and they're doing it.
Oh, certainly. I mean, it's really a team effort. You know, our counselors are out there working with our clients every day. We've got assistive technology, who are making sure they've got the technology they need to be successful. And then we've got our business development. Those guys in business development, guys and gals, are out there working with those businesses every day, trying to create those opportunities to find those great jobs, kind of like Sephora. We've been really excited about our partnership with Sephora over the years. And, prior to COVID, they had 30% of their workforce, which was about 130 individuals. who had disabilities who were working for that organization.
Remarkable.
So,
yeah.
You think about big scale, how we can partner with these businesses and really create great opportunities for
You
for
have
those
that has, and I'm going to cut you short. We'll continue with this on the other side. You have to have that relationship first of all. That's where it all starts. We'll talk more about this when we come back. Right after. In the house, it is Chris Howard, the executive director, on his way out. Billy Taylor, incoming executive director. Our exit interview, and what are the plans, and when is the final day here, Chris?
The final day is actually today.
Oh, really?
So, yes, sir. Yeah, April 30th and May 1st, I will become a retiree.
So I'm not going to ask you what you're going to do because you have to do the Gophers and everything else for a while. Then you get bored, and you're just too young to fish all day. So that's not going to happen, is it?
Oh, definitely not. No, I'll take a month or two to fix my fence and rebuild a retaining wall and all that exciting outdoor stuff.
I got you. All right, let me ask you this because the 2977, or is it 20? I keep forgetting what it is. It's the one that readjusts the boards and everything else. Would your board be involved in that also?
My understanding is we were taken out of that bill, weren't we?
I'm not sure. Last version I saw thought we were still in it, but maybe we have.
Yeah, I have to go back and look at that. For some reason, I was thinking we were taken out. But the way our board's currently set up is we've got 7 members. 5 are appointed based on their position within state government, and then you got 2 that are appointed by the governor on 6-year terms. Yeah.
On 6 year, and staggered on 6-year
Right.
terms.
Yes, sir.
But all of that would be wiped out. If your board is inclusive of that, it would be every 4 years, right?
I assume so.
Well, you don't have to worry about that, Chris.
Yeah, so I was looking at Billy. I was like,
So, I do want to ask you this about the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation. How many people do we handle? All of them, the disability program and all of the other things for the blind, for the deaf, the assistive technology. How many people do you actually have that are one way or the other involved with the department as far as being served across the state?
ooh, that's a good question. Like I said, we go about 950 employees. I would say probably 200 to 300 are vocational rehab for the blind, AT, someone serving with a disability, helping them gain employment. And then probably another 150 maybe in special disability programs where they are working with individuals, with significant disabilities, helping them stay at home through one of the Medicaid waiver programs.
I got you, but I'm talking about people that you serve. You actually serve.
Oh.
How many Mississippians?
We serve about 15,000 roughly through the vocational programs, and then about 3,800 to 4,000 through one of those waiver programs.
Billy, is one of the things there, and I know it's been frustrating, and Chris and I have talked about this over the years, and when Butch was on, we did the same thing. You have to have public awareness, public information, hopefully, the print or TV or radio, somewhere down the line you get this information out into, the rural areas and everywhere else. If you do have a disability, if you're struggling with sight or hearing or a disability of paraplegic or whatever it happens to be, there is help there, and you've got to get that information. Do you have people come in that for the first time and they never knew that service was available?
Yes, unfortunately, we do hear that sometimes, that we're the best kept secret in the state. But we have a great communications office that's trying to get the word out about our services. We have business development reps around the state that are out there working with the businesses, trying to talk them into hiring our clients with disability. So we're giving it our best effort to get the word out to every corner of the state. But it is a challenge. I mean, there are times where people, have received some kind of catastrophic injury and may go a few months before they realize the services that we could provide for them.
Let me get this. It's a shout out to, and I'm not going to name names. Some are no longer in the House or Senate, and some people who are. But I know of quite a few members who ring that phone every single day. They are sometimes the best advocates out there. Their constituents call them, they call you, and that's sometimes the way that this is connected, and that matters.
Yeah, I mean, that's extremely important. We get referrals from, like you said, maybe legislators or doctors' offices, hospitals,
Yes.
schools, preachers. Who knows better about the congregation than a preacher? Sometimes we'll get a
That's
call from
a
a
good point.
preacher or two.
Good
So
point.
it's like Billy said, it's really going across the state, doing as much as we can with outreach and letting as many people know about our programs. So we have those really strong referral sources.
Maybe this will help. Let me do this in bullet points, just a little bit. I mean, just a few words about this. From the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, Chris, first of all, Ability Works. Can you give me just a little shout out what Ability Works is?
Yeah, so like you said, Ability Works is part of the vocational program. We have 15 locations around the state, and what they're doing is they're working with clients to help them learn the soft skills as well as the hard skills of employment. We have instructors, evaluators, a production manager, and a facility manager at each of those locations, and their job is to work with those individuals. And again, to not only work on the hard skills, learning a job, but also the soft skills as well as, getting along with your peers, taking direction from your supervisor, coming to work on time, just things like that. So
Deal breakers if you don't know those. Billy, Deaf Services.
Yeah, so we have the Office of Deaf and Hard of Hearing within the VR program at our agency, and they are kind of the clearinghouse for all deaf services around the state. Like if you want to hire an interpreter, you can go to their office and they can make sure that interpreter is certified to meet your needs. All the interpreters have to, statewide have to do certain levels of testing to prove that they're proficient in their skill and keep up that skill set. So, they do a great job kind of being the one-stop shop for interpreters around the state.
Project Search.
Yes, so Project Search, that's the program where we partner with schools and an employer to find that senior year internship program where they rotate around different jobs in hospitals or other employment type settings. So that's.
And I do know that the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation for the Blind is also an important factor, Chris. You want to speak to that?
Yeah, so, we have actually two centers. We have the Addie McBride Center here in Jackson that provides those hands-on services to individuals who are blind or visually impaired. And when you think about it, like this morning, you got up and made your breakfast, took a shower, picked out your clothes. Well, if you're blind or visually impaired, it's a totally different way of having to do that. So, to teach how to safely cook in the kitchen, how to pick out your clothes, how to fold your money so a 20 is a 20 and not a $1 bill. But, that's extremely important. And then we just opened a brand new center on the coast called the Emerge Center. And it's what's called the Structured Discovery Model. And prior to opening that, we were having to send clients out of state who wanted to participate in those programs, in that program. But by bringing it to Mississippi, we really like it because now we can serve our folks at home in their community as opposed to them having to pack a suitcase, for example, and leave for a couple months to go out of state to get that training.
Are these weekly classes, daily classes, or how's that held?
Oh, they're daily classes.
Daily classes?
Yes, sir.
Billy, has technology helped this one? We talked about over the years, technology, just like the smartphone, has been a godsend in some of these things. Has that helped as far as in that department, as far as rehabilitation for the blind?
It really has. It's been really neat to go down to that new Emerge Center and see the clients and instructors there working together. And the use of the iPhone in that instruction has just been incredible. I mean, the way they can navigate all aspects of life with that device is really just been life-changing, I'm sure, for that community.
How about the independent living services now as the population gets older and older?
Yeah, when we talk about like our waiver programs, that goes through independent living. Back in 2015, our waiting list was about 3,000 individuals, and we've gotten that waiting list down to around 600. So, we've really worked hard to serve as many people as we can. And when you talk about a waiver program, what that means is, we are providing personal care attendant services to assist Mississippians with what we say significant disabilities with daily living, just giving them the ability to live at home as opposed to a long-term care facility. And also through that program, we do a lot of home modifications, roll-in showers, ramps, widening of doors, as well as vehicle modifications as well. So, again, it's really going out there to, developing what we call a plan of care and helping that person be as safe as possible and being able to reside in their home.
Billy, I think where technology probably really shines, it's got to be in one of the places assisted technology, computer access. You have vehicle modification, things such as that. Can you imagine pretty soon you won't have to worry about them driving? You'll have self-driving vehicles. That'll be pretty neat.
Yeah, that's very exciting. I mean, it's amazing to see what that technology can do in those cars nowadays. So it'll be exciting to see how the world changes for them in the next 5 or 10 years as that technology continues to advance.
Look, welcome, guys. I appreciate it, Billy. I look forward to talking to you in the future. Chris, congratulations, sir, and may you enjoy at least a couple of months of peace and quiet.
Paul, I appreciate it. You've always been a great friend. I always appreciate you letting me get on the show and talk about rehab services. You know, I could talk about this agency all day long.
It's a great agency, and it does so much for so many people in our state. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you coming in.
Yes, sir. Thank you.